They call themselves the Guardians of the Galaxy.
What a bunch of a-holes.
Hooked on a feeling, I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. I'm hooked on a feeling.
Greetings, fellow space cowboys. This is Unrepentant Geeking, the show on that guy with the glasses that always aims to misbehave. I am Sean. Or, to put it another way, I'm your host, Sean Cronenfeld, and this time around we have a look at two delightful returns sure to put a smile on the face of many a geek. Yes, both the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the animated series Gravity Falls are back, and we're going to kick things off with the latest entry in the former Guardians of the Galaxy.
We arrested these five on Xandar. Apparently they think they can save the galaxy.
What the hell?
I look around at us, and I see a thief, two thugs, an assassin, and a maniac. But we're not going to stand by as evil wipes out billions of lives. Oh, yeah.
Hooked on a feeling.
You're welcome. Ain't no thing like me except me.
Who are you?
We're the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Who?
Forget it.
To begin with, since answering this question seems extremely important to some people, Guardians of the Galaxy is not my favorite Marvel film. That firmly remains Avengers, and honestly, Guardians is no Avengers. And I assure you all, that's very much a good thing. What I can say is that Guardians is the most fun I've had at a theater this summer, and a film that has as much heart as it does laughs. And oh, does it have a lot of laughs. For those who've not been paying attention, Guardians of the Galaxy is the latest Marvel Studios film, number 10 to be exact, and boy does it feel odd yet wonderful to realize just how long the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been going on at this point, and the first to really take us into the realm of Marvel Cosmic. The Thor films have teased us with this aspect of the company, but Guardians is the first time we've really gone all in on the space, see what I did there, where some of the company's most delightfully crazy concepts live. Frankly, I've long been a lover of Marvel's cosmic stuff, and yet the very nature of properties such as Nova and Guardians of the Galaxy led me to wonder if they ever truly could be accurately adapted for the screen. Well, consider all such doubts silenced once and for all, because not only has director-writer James Gunn nailed everything that makes Marvel's cosmic line so much fun, but he's done so in a way that allows these often strange and esoteric concepts to remain accessible to a larger audience. No mean feat, that. For those who have somehow managed to miss the positive hurricane of marketing that Marvel and Disney have put behind the film, Guardians tells the story of how a group of misfits and criminals in space come together as a team in order to first make some money, and then once the shit hits the fan, do something amazing to clean said mess up. The group includes Peter Quill, a space pirate/thief who was abducted from Earth as a child and now spends his days trying to get everybody to call him Star-Lord, Rocket and Groot, a bounty hunter team consisting of a talking genetically enhanced raccoon and a sort of talking and walking space tree respectively, Gamora, a deadly assassin who's also the adopted daughter of the universe's most deadly villains, and Drax the Destroyer, one of the most dangerous warriors in the universe, and in the movie at least, a member of a species who has no concept of metaphors. Such an unlikely and motley band would usually be the last group anyone would expect to play saviors, but then that's the point, and the way the film draws together this otherwise disparate group in a more or less natural way is one of its greatest triumphs. Each of the Guardians is an utterly broken figure in their own way, and all have past soaked in tragedy and loss. And for all of the film's plentiful humor, it never forgets this fact, and is careful to let the inherent sorrow of each character rise to the forefront when appropriate. This is what I meant by saying the film has a lot of heart, and it helps ground what could have otherwise been an overly wacky and silly affair. Instead, Guardians has just enough extra heft and weight to it to make it a more meaningful film than your standard disposable summer blockbuster. Further contributing to this is Guardians' leads, all of whom do a terrific job of the challenge of switching between comedy and humor at short notice. Take, for example, the kind of subtle change that occurs in Pratt's Star-Lord during the initial prison processing sequence. What had up to then been a mostly joking and light performance turns on a dime when the character realizes what has become of his beloved Walkman. It makes it clear that Star-Lord is a man with some hidden depths that belies his seemingly buffoonish surface. Similarly, Zoe Saldana's Gamora is more than just a pretty face, and despite some problematic moments courtesy of the writing, which I'll get back to, Saldana does a wonderful job portraying the character's conflicted and often tormented nature. Even someone as unexpected as wrestler David Bautista rises to the occasion with a performance that bespeaks a terrific sense of timing on his part. And while Bautista is unlikely to be the next Tom Hanks or anything, I could see the man at least achieving a comparable career to fellow wrestler-turned-performer Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Finally, the film's two digital stars are every bit the scene stealers many thought they would be, and Harrison and Mayhew had better watch out because there's a new lovable yet badass space opera duo in town. Mark my words. There's going to be countless parent-kid Groot Rocket combos this Halloween, and it will be adorable. I wish I could say that Guardians of the Galaxy was a perfect film, but it isn't, with two key areas in particular somewhat undermining the film's many successes. First of all, there's no denying that Guardians has some problems at points with sexism. Keep in mind that director James Gunn has long let a kind of college frat boy mentality follow him around, as seen in a reprehensible blog post he made about superhero sex back in 2012 that was clearly meant to be humorous, but instead came off as nastily homophobic and misogynistic instead. To be fair, Guardians never comes close to sinking down to that level, but such moments as a servile, broken English-speaking sexual conquest of Peters, seen in the early going, or the treatment of two female slaves mid-film, with one trussed up in a truly horrific and highly sexualized manner, while the other is brutally killed off for trying to escape without anyone really batting an eye, being examples of particular note. And then there's the moment where Drax repeatedly calls Gamora a whore, despite that particular insult making no sense in the context of Gamora's character. And keep in mind, Drax is someone who is always literal. I think that Gunn doesn't get that whore isn't just an interchangeable insult, like say, asshole or dickhead, and the whole scene took me right out of the film when it happened. To Guardian's credit, I was then quickly sucked back in, but it still should have never happened in the first place, especially since none of these incidents in question are really necessary in the first place. The ones that count as attempts at humor really aren't funny, while the more serious incidents, well, they're just overkill. And what little plot value they have could have easily been achieved by similar and less potentially sexually icky means. Do not get me wrong, Guardians is a great film, and it deserves all the success it's already achieved. And it's not like there aren't positive aspects as well, such as Glenn Close being the head of the Nova Corps, or Gamora in general, who really does come across as a tough warrior and a character with real agency. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the film's occasional forays go unnoticed by the majority of filmgoers, male or female, just out for a good time at the cinema. But even so, I still maintain that this aspect of the film needs to be noted, if only so Gunn can address it in his works going forward, particularly the already ordered Guardians sequel. As for Guardians' other major problem, that would be its lead villain Ronan the Accuser, who despite a strong effort from former Pushing Daisies star Lee Pace, never really manages to become more than the same one-note villain seen in previous Marvel films like Captain America the First Avenger and Thor the Dark World. I can't hold this too much against Guardians, considering that again, not only is it a larger problem of the MCU as a whole, but also considering just how much goddamn heavy lifting this film has to do. Guardians introduces at least as many concepts as ideas as the entire Phase 1 of the MCU, and it does so in one movie, no less. Indeed, the film includes Marvel characters and creations I honestly never thought would show up on a big screen, much less in such a loving and accurate form, and Jack Kirby fans in particular are in for a real treat. Finally, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the film's amazing soundtrack and score, with the latter featuring some of the best compositions yet in a Marvel film. So well done to Tyler Bates, whose work fits the space opera antics of the film perfectly, while also nicely complementing the plethora of 70s and 80s tunes used throughout that help further add character and emotion to the entire film. I don't know if I could say that Guardians is the best film of the summer or the year, because I've seen some amazing indie films so far, but I can say it's the best blockbuster of the season, and easily some of the most fun I've had at the cinema all year. While elements of the now familiar Marvel cinematic formula are certainly present in Guardians, this is more than just another comic book film, and it's one whose staying power I expect to continue for years to come. especially with the younger generation of today. It's a wonderful and highly engaging example of space opera done right, and I'm even almost tempted to say it sets a high bar for J.J. Abrams' upcoming Star Wars sequel to clear, were it not for the fact that simple expectation due to it being, well, Star Wars, already easily trumps any other similar concerns. Regardless, Guardians of the Galaxy is a film that gets my highest recommendation. It's not without its issues, but ultimately its successes are far more numerous than its failings, and it's easily the best space opera since Serenity. I would even say that Guardians easily matches that other classic in terms of quality, which should be reason enough to go see it in theaters as soon as possible. That's it for Guardians of the Galaxy, and now it's time to move on to the second part of the episode with a look at the season premiere of Gravity Falls. Interesting fact, the last episode of Season 1 of Gravity Falls aired August 2nd, 2013. The first episode of Season 2 aired August 1st, 2014. Being forced to wait just 1 day shy of a full year for more of a show you love would be bad enough, but then when you throw in a remarkably audacious cliffhanger/reveal in the final moments of Season 1, said wait basically becomes pure torture! Thankfully, however, at last Season 2 has begun, and I'm here with a look at the first episode of this long-awaited return. For those unfamiliar with the series, Gravity Falls focuses on the adventures of 12-year-old twins Dipper and Mabel Pines during a summer stay with their great-uncle, aka Grunkle, Stan Pines, in the small town of Gravity Falls, Oregon. Whereas Dipper tends to be more world-weary and reserved, Mabel is energetic and relentlessly optimistic, but the twins share a strong sibling bond nonetheless that includes an insatiable curiosity and desire for adventure. It's this that soon draws the pair into contact with the seemingly endless array of strange and supernatural occurrences that are part and parcel of their new home. And while Grunkle Stan might seem like just another con man, what with his running an obvious tourist trap by the name of the Mystery Shack and his adamant refusal to accept the existence of anything supernatural, like the town of Gravity Falls itself, it quickly becomes clear that there's more going on with this old man than first meets the eyes. Throw in the Mystery Shack's dim but lovable handyman Zeus, the tomboyish yet hip 15-year-old Wendy who works the shack part-time, enough colorful and interesting townsfolk to match even Springfield on its best day, and an overall tone that could switch between humorous, heartfelt, and spooky at the drop of a hat, and you have all the makings for one of the best animated series airing on TV today. Season 1 of Gravity Falls ended with a hell of a bang, as the twins finally defeated the chief antagonist of the season, Little Gideon, a 12-year-old evangelist type who had been using his knowledge of the supernatural, innate cuteness, and diabolical intellect to basically rule Gravity Falls. It was a battle involving giant robots, fistfights in motion capture suits, and the importance of always having a grappling hook at one's disposal, and it ended in a way that promised a major shakeup to the series' status quo. The finale also had Grunkle Stan reveal, to the audience at least, that not only was he aware of the supernatural shenanigans going on around him, but he was actually at the heart of one of the series' biggest overarching mysteries. This leads directly into the Season 2 premiere, titled Scarioki, which sees the twins and Grunkle Stan try to pick up the pieces, in more ways than one, and resume life as it was before Little Gideon had stolen and ultimately destroyed the Mystery Shack. And while the building itself is easily fixed, there is in fact no going back for any of our leads. Change is in the air in Gravity Falls, and it seems clear that none are immune. By the end of the episode, Grunkle Stan ends up coming clean about his knowledge of the supernatural, while still keeping other greater secrets, even while Dipper remains more dedicated than ever to uncovering the mysteries around him, despite promising otherwise to Stan. And Mabel? Well, while she finally gets the 3-person karaoke sing-off that she long desired as part of a battle against zombies, it's complicated. And awesome! It's clear that she won't be able to simply ignore the troubling times that are coming. Indeed, a permanent rift now exists between the two male Pines, and it seems likely that Mabel's going to be caught up in the middle more and more as the season progresses. For now, she's still able to play Peacemaker, but the question remains how long that can last, and just what will happen if and when she's called upon to pick a side. Gravity Falls has started its second season outright, with an episode that moves the status quo forward just enough to offer a hint of exciting new times to come, but not so much that the show loses the various qualities that have made it so appealing in the first place. Between Grunkle Stan having admitted his knowledge of the supernatural and the introduction of two government agents looking into mysteries of their own, and one of whom is voiced by the always welcome Nick Offerman, it's clear that change has come to Gravity Falls, while leaving the real core of the show, i.e. the strong familial bond between its lead characters, very much intact. At the same time, there's a real sense that the raised stakes of last season's finale remain in play, with the zombies being a particularly nasty and dangerous threat in a way that the majority of the supernatural would-be baddies of Season 1 never were. Combine this with Stan's serious musings throughout the episode on whatever it is he's up to, and a prediction of oncoming dark times from Season 1, and it all adds up to an exciting start for fans of the show. Gravity Falls has always felt like the animated love child of Erie, Indiana, The X-Files, and Twin Peaks, and with Scarioki, the show offers enough payoff to give viewers hope that it will avoid the same mistakes its predecessors made with their own sprawling mythologies. Overall, based on this episode at least, Gravity Falls has not lost a step, and if anything has grown even more audacious and daring in the interim. Fans of animation, this is one series not to be missed. And that's going to do it for this episode of Unrepentant Geeking. As always, I want to thank all of you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed making. Look for a check back with Gravity Falls later in the season, and in the meantime, barring any emergencies or the like, there should be a new episode of Blistered Reviews up this weekend. Until then, I'm Sean Cronenfeld, and on behalf of That Guy with the Glasses and Unrepentant Geeking, I want everyone to remember that we are all Groot. Till next time.